Today, we're going to do rectangles. As you can see, I'm not in my office at work. I'm sitting here at home, down in my office in the basement. I have a little corner in the back of the basement. It's technically an unfinished area that I've added a wall here and there and tried to dress it up a little bit. But as my wife's business has expanded, I got kicked out of my office in the basement, and I'm back in what we call the dog room. So it's kind of nice in a certain way because it's back in the back corner of the basement where nobody comes and disturbs me. So let's get started. Rectangle tool. You see my screen in front of you. We're going to start off with a sketch. We all know how to do that now, correct? If not, you got some problems and you need to go back and revisit the introduction to sketching tutorials and maybe redo the line tutorial as well. So let's go to create sketch. We're going to pick the top bottom plane, and you'll notice I have one rectangle, a 2-point rectangle, in my shortcut bar up here above the create menu. If I hit create in the drop down, you'll see I've got 3 different types of rectangles. Okay, the 2-point rectangle, 2 clicks. Hard to imagine. 2-point rectangle, 2 clicks. 1 click will be your length, and you'll go diagonal, setting the width as the second point. The 3-point rectangle, well, we'll get into that in a minute, is 3 clicks. And then the center rectangle. Okay, let's start off with our 2-point rectangle. Let's come to the origin. Okay, we're going to click on the origin to start our 2-point rectangle. And I'm going to drag up and to the right. I don't have to click and drag. I clicked and I just moved my mouse. Notice I've got 2 input boxes. The input box here is going to give me the length. And let's say we're going to make it 100 millimeters. Hit the tab key. We'll leave it at 50. Type it in so it sets. Now, I can drag my mouse either direction and it will set the rectangle in whatever direction and whatever quadrant that my mouse is in currently. I want it up here. I've already set my distances. I'm just going to click. And there I have my rectangle. The lines are black. What does that mean? The lines are black. They are set. They're constrained in distance. Okay? If I want to change, I'm going to escape out of the tool. If I'm going to change the height here or the width and make it 80, hit enter. And there is the new value to my rectangle. 50, enter. Now I'm going to start off showing you constrained distances. Let's go back to our 2-point rectangle. There it is in the shortcut menu. I can go create rectangle, 2-point rectangle, click. Now I'm going to start this sketch over here. Click, drag, come down here, click again. Escape to get out of the rectangle tool. Notice my lines are blue. Why is that? Because I did not type in values for the distances on length and width, which means I can drag, click and drag on this line and move it. Okay. Over here, click on it. I can't move it. It's constrained. So what happens if you're creating a design, working along, you've got your mouse and you accidentally do got a problem now, don't I? So I've changed this value. All right. That's why we use, as often as we can, our constraints constraining the size of the rectangle. If I need to change it, it can only be done in a purposeful or a way that is clearly intending to change it. I cannot just click and drag it. I have to double click, enter a new value, and hit enter. That is with purpose. Okay. It's not a mistake if you do it because it's 3 steps. So don't come to me and say, oh, Mr. No, I accidentally changed it. That means you didn't constrain it. Okay. So just heading that excuse off at the pass now. All right. So we've got our 2-point rectangle. Very simple to do. 2 clicks. Click one starting point, and then you're going to click at the opposite corner. Set your distances. All right, let's go to a new canvas. Let's create a sketch. Don't lose your canvases, okay? Top, bottom plane. And now we are going to look at the 3-point rectangle. Okay, let's go back to the 2-point rectangle. Every one I drew, every one of these rectangles I drew, let's just put a square right here. 50 by 50. Every one of these, notice how they have the vertical and horizontal constraints on the lines. Because a 2-point rectangle, the lines always have to be vertical and horizontal. But in reality, do we always draw our rectangles vertical and horizontal with vertical and horizontal lines? No, we do not. Let's say, for example, take the hand tool here and pan it down. Let's say, for example, we were going to sketch out a baseball diamond. Now, baseball diamond, a diamond, which we don't have a tool for, there's no diamond tool. A diamond is simply a square turned on its corner, an end corner, correct? Yeah, that's a diamond. So we use the rectangle tool, but we cannot use a 2-point rectangle because a 2-point rectangle, the sides are going to be horizontal or vertical. Let's go to create rectangle and let's do a 3-point rectangle. All right, now I'm going to start at the origin. And this rectangle, I'm going to put at an angle. This rectangle is going to be drawn at an angle that creates a diamond. So I'm going to click. Now, 3-point rectangle, 3 clicks. 1. Now I'm going up at an angle. Notice when I did that with a 2-point rectangle, it's drawing the shape for me. Okay, drawing vertical and horizontal lines. This is just drawing a single line. Click a second time. Now, look at there. Now it's drawing the shape for me as I've created the other dimension. And there I have a 3-point rectangle. Okay, it's drawn as a diamond. I'm going to undo this. Let's see. And let's go create rectangle, 3-point rectangle. Now, I'm going to click on the origin. We're going to draw a baseball diamond. The length from home plate to first base, I believe, is 90 feet. We're going to draw it at scale, 90 millimeters, okay? So we're going to scale feet to millimeters. So there's 90. All right, and I want it to be at a 45-degree angle here, so I'm going over this little right there on that quadrant. There's my first click. Now my second click, 90 again. On there. Okay, it's on the origin. And third click, escape out of the tool. So I know I have a squared turned on in because this length and this length is 90. Now, that looks very much like a vertical horizontal constraint, but it's not. It's a different constraint. It's parallel. So this line and this line are parallel. This line and this line are parallel, not vertical and horizontal. So if we need to draw a rectangle, which is not vertical and horizontal, we're going to use the 3-point rectangle. Okay? All right. That's the 3-point rectangle. Where's my time on my... Oh, okay. Last rectangle. Let's open a new canvas, create sketch, top, bottom plane. Sometimes we know, let's say, for example, we have a stadium. So I'm going to draw a center diameter circle here for just to outline a stadium, for example. And it's going to be a circular stadium for basketball. Let's make sure we have it plenty large enough. That'll be good. So that circle represents our stadium. And I know that the basketball court, the center of the basketball court has to be in the center of the stadium. So I'm going to draw my rectangle that represents my basketball court from the center point of the circle here, okay, which is the outer edges of my stadium. So I'm going to go create rectangle, and I'm going to do a center rectangle. This means that we start from the center point of where the rectangle is to be, which happens to be the very center of the stadium. So I'm going to click my first click, and now it's 2 clicks. All right. And let's say my basketball court that's too big. Well, what is a basketball court? 90 feet, 94 feet, I think, something like that. I don't remember. So we're going to go 94. And we're going to set the width to be, I don't remember the exact, something like 45, and hit enter. So now I've created a square, or a rectangle, not a square, in the center of my stadium, okay, that we know it's centered. Now you could work it out mathematically if you wanted to use a 2-point and draw construction lines and do all that to try and figure out, here's my starting point and here's where I would go. But that's a heck of a lot more difficult than just using the center rectangle tool. Okay, this ends the basic tutorials. The next video I'm going to do will be our rectangle tool project. So that'll be part 2 of this section, and we are done for the moment.